All right, welcome everybody to the first ever crossover conversation with no hacks and the test and learn community. Thank you so much for agreeing to co-moderate with me, Sani. This is our special Halloween podcast and TLC conversation. We're talking agentic commerce, tricks, treats, and the future of shopping. But before we do, we have to thank our sponsors. As always, let's start by thanking Conductrix, who have been with us from the beginning. Thank you, Matt, Nate, Ezekiel, Ashley, and the entire team at Conductrix so much for sponsoring us. And we want to thank our other TLC newsletter sponsors, starting with Conductrix again, and also Growthbook and Ask Why. Thank you for providing your thought leadership to the community, and thank all three of you for also sponsoring Experimentation Island. Thank you, Convert, for sponsoring the amazing Conversations channel on the TLC. Take a chance, everybody. Go answer some questions and get a chance to win some prizes. And last, thank you, Blazing Growth. Before I introduce the panel, we're all going to introduce each other. It should be interesting. Quick announcement and reminder. For those of you who missed the exciting news about Dr. Kelly Hill of Khan Academy as our third speaker of the lineup, being invited by Growthbook, we're really excited to have her. I feel really stupid in this wolf costume talking about this, but hey, I think Kelly would be okay with it because, you know, she's K-12 educator, but still, we're really excited to have her, and y'all would really love to hear her story. So stay tuned. Next week, we will be announcing our fourth speaker. He's very well known and loved in the TLC community. He's been there since the very beginning. So that's your hint. I'll also be announcing a special TLC member only ticket queue in your email. So watch your inboxes. All right, with that, time to meet your panel. Luiza.
I love the photo.
All right.
Hello.
Your job to introduce the first person on the panel. Go.
Yes, I think I'm going to go for Carlos and tell you guys all about why he is here. So I think that he's on the panel because Kelly and him are on the same side of the pond, obviously. No, but other than that, I think Carlos has shown his interest in the topic. I mean, he had some pretty bold claims looking at some of his LinkedIn posts where he also said that soon half of what most people know as CRO will be irrelevant. So perhaps he will expand a little bit on that today. And I mean, he's been with one of the leading CRO agencies for almost 5 years, Spiro. So yeah, I think that's a great CRO thought leader, and we're very happy to have you, Carlos, on the panel.
Thank you, Luiza.
He makes America's most dependable trucks.
Okay. Next up.
Oh, that wasn't me.
All right, Carlos, why don't you introduce number two?
Sure. I think in my case, I need to introduce our amazing host today, Kelly, and I think my task was to figure out why she wanted to co-moderate this panel with Sani from No Hacks. And I think, I mean, to me, the reason is kind of like obvious. This is like a very hot topic right now because some crazy people are making bold claims about this, making half of CRO irrelevant and things like that. So this is probably a good timing to start this discussion to figure all this out together. And obviously, Kelly's all in for navigating this conversation and keeping the community engaged. So yeah, hope this pays off.
Perfect. Yep. Well
I'm
done.
next. Why is Luiza here? I need to have my theory on why Luiza is here. So I had the pleasure of finally meeting Luiza in person over the last few months. We talked several times. She's a healthy skeptic, and we need healthy skeptics for anything AI related, and that is all I'll say.
I love that. That's all the
serious.
credentials you need.
I'm not laughing. I'm serious. We do need more healthy skeptics when it comes to AI.
Yep. 100%. All right. So my job is to explain why Sani's here. And for those of you who don't know about the No Hacks podcast, I mean, that one's pretty obvious. But like number two, I've learned more about AI from Sani than just about anyone. But like if you go look on Sani's LinkedIn, he says, making humans happier by making websites fast, semantic, and accessible. AI seems to like it too. And I love this. I love this description because it's like, do it because it's better for humans. And yeah, sure, AI prefers it too. It's like putting humans first. And I love that about it's the perspective. Everything he does with AI puts humans first. And that's like what we're supposed to be doing with experimentation. That's what we're supposed to be doing with usability, with like CRO, with everything, if you put the humans first. And that's what you do with everything. So here you are helping everybody build all these AI things and you're doing all this AI research, but you're always putting humans first. So that's why I wanted to co-moderate with you, because I think you have the right perspective, putting humans first.
It felt good to hear that, but yes, I do feel that way. It's AI is only about humans. Optimizing for AI is about optimizing for humans. That's it.
Hopefully. All right, so that's why we're all here. That's, or at least that's why we think we're all here. So Luiza, your role is skeptic. Got
Yes,
it?
I'll
Skeptic
try
and
to
strategist.
do this the best I can.
And Sani's here because he's putting humans first. He's our co-moderator. Carlos is here because he thinks CRO might be dead. Oh my gosh, you're our Dr. Doom in this. All right, great. All right, and let's kick it off. Shall we, where do we want to start, Sani?
Let's unpack the CRO is that thing.
Oh,
Let's make it spicy from the get-go.
let's go. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so that we can see our faces. Yay. Okay, go.
Okay, I guess that's me, right?
That's you.
I don't think I explicitly said it that way, but I think connecting the dots, and I think to bring some context, I've been talking about the importance of optimizing for financial metrics for a while now. Through my course at CXL and pretty much every stage I have been at, I've been repeating, you should no longer be optimizing just for like, I mean, obviously this is dependent on the context, but just for more clicks. When we know as a fact that just even the idea of just optimizing for more conversions doesn't necessarily translate into a healthy business or like the best possible decisions for a business. So I think this whole kind of like agentic commerce topic is just a good reminder of that, because the point I've been trying to make for well, I think a few weeks at this point is that as CRO professionals we should use that as an excuse to remind ourselves to focus on what really matters, which in my opinion and in my experience is not just shuffling things around on a website, or for like in e-commerce commonly like a product page. So yeah, the kind of like the reason behind my bold claims is that like CRO might become irrelevant as known for most people, probably not for this audience here. But if you ask the rest of the world outside of this kind of echo chamber in a good way what CRO is, normally their answers will be related to just kind of like how you can maybe manipulate people into buying more by creating like scarcity tactics and sometimes some kind of like fake mechanisms to influence people into moving in the direction you wanted. I think despite the fact that agentic commerce because become a mainstream thing or not, which frankly I doubt will be a thing in short term, this should just remind all of us here of the fundamentals, which is why we do this in the first place and what we're after. And yeah, that's kind of like some of the reasoning behind my previous claims.
You disarmed me. Like, I can't argue that. It's Halloween, so let's talk about Frankenstein. There's a big movie coming out next week. So if Zero is dead and we take the brain out and get an arm of SEO, a leg of an email marketing or whatever, we assemble the entire body and we make it alive, we have that new iteration of Zero. I know it's spooky, it's green, it's scary, but it needs to be all those things if it's going to stay alive.
That's why I've been doing the writing on GEO, because I'm trying to learn all the stuff I never learned on SEO.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's that, but is it going to stay that? I doubt it.
I mean, I think if there's a TLDR from what I've been trying to say is just sticks and trips and just like short-sighted tactics will just keep becoming irrelevant and more irrelevant every day. I think some of us, I mean, the ones that have been on this for long enough, have even noticed this pattern. Like even like leading voices in the space are no longer just talking about individual experiments, or at least not most of the time. Where normally when we talk about experimentation, we talk about programs and like the bigger picture and how this affects like the overarching business goals. So this idea of just thinking of like those silver bullets that will just transform your business, it's just getting outdated every day. So to me, partly as a practitioner, because I do client work, but also as an educator, the whole agentic commerce topic is just a great excuse to keep reiterating on this point. Let's optimize for what matters. Let's experiment with what matters, you know?
I love that. I love that. Luiza, do you want to add something to that?
I think, I mean, because we jump right into the topic, me being the skeptic, I would like to pull it a little bit a step back and talk a little bit about the topic, and maybe not everyone stayed up with all the news and mention what actually happened and why are we discussing this. So I think starting with the topic of this panel, I really love that it's kind of is it a trick or treat? And I think it can be with everything generative AI these days, because so much about what we will need to do going forward will be distinguishing what is actually adding value, what is an actual use case versus what's an overpromise. And starting with the concrete, so OpenAI announced this instant checkout experience, right? And we'll talk about the details of that, geographies, partners, and so on. So instant checkout and the Agentic Commerce protocol. I think that's important to start and mention, you know, what caused this topic and this conversation. And then within that, we can start talking about the different elements of that. Which part is actually working, like we started talking, Kelly. Perhaps you have some experience that would like to share with us in a second, since you're the only one US based. But maybe we can break down a little bit of these elements, right? So geographies and partners, and maybe we can discuss a little bit why the partners that were chosen by OpenAI were the ones chosen. I think those would be like good basics to cover before we jump into you know, like the further philosophical debate.
It's a great point.
Kelly, since you failed to buy, can you share your experience in more detail? Like,
Yeah. So to Luiza's point, right now, the way it works is there's supposed to be an ability, at least in the US market, if you're using ChatGPT, OpenAI, you're supposed to be able to have a conversation within ChatGPT about, say, what you're trying to purchase. And if you are trying to make a purchase with one of the approved vendors, and we can go through the list of those approved vendors. Then there's supposed to be the ability to purchase something directly within ChatGPT. So since, we have the knowledge behind the scenes of what is available, for example, Etsy is one of those vendors. I went through and I happen to know that some of you have met my husband. He likes to wear vests and he often buys those vests through Etsy. So I went through and I explained the designs of the vest that my husband is looking for. He wants a corduroy vest, but he doesn't want it to look cowboy. He wants it to look librarian chic, and I did the whole description and, described what we were looking for and his measurements, his height, his weight, I put it all in there. Hopefully that doesn't get leaked. We could talk about that later. Anyway, and then asked if we could buy it. And I got sent to a UK vendor instead of Etsy. And I was like, is this available on Etsy? And then they gave me a couple of Etsy options, but they said, really what you're looking for is this Walker Slater is the best category. And they sent me several options in Etsy, several options in others that were very expensive, custom made. And the reason I ended up actually making the purchase with Walker Slater is because it was actually exactly what we had described. So it was a very interesting experience because they went by, the chat interface went by what I had described and actually gave me what we were looking for instead of encouraging me to buy in window.
Interesting. So it swayed you away from the Etsy options.
It did.
Interesting. But when you got prompted with the Etsy options, did you have the buy button in chat?
No.
Or that?
No. It had me go shop and look. Not
yet, I guess.
I don't know.
We'll
I don't
see
know
about the yet part. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
this-
if it would have been there if there had been something I liked. But it was like, go look at this. Is this what you want? And if I had wanted it, maybe. But if I'd already been off the chat, why?
They announced it to kind of very recently still. There's a good chance it's still not fully rolled out or something like that.
They announced AGI a few years ago for 2025. Still not rolled out. So what I'm trying to say is everything they announce, if we're not the skeptical ones, the world is screwed. It's really that important.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. David had a good question. So I want to do a poll if you can raise your hand. But we need to talk about two elements of agentic commerce. So David mentioned something like, why would you even buy through? Who's excited about shopping through a chatbot? Genuinely excited about the ability to do that? Is anyone really thinking about doing that and wants to do it in the future? Only thumbs up, David.
I will say,
Melissa,
I was not. I thought it was stupid, but I was incredibly impressed with the outcome for my husband's vest.
Which part? Because there are two parts of that buying journey. Were you impressed by the discovering the product or actual transaction and buying the product?
My husband is very particular. You've seen how he dresses.
Very cool. Yeah, I have.
He's very particular.
Fancy.
He's very fancy. That's a good description. It's very difficult to find clothing that he would choose for himself. He looks like he's dressed in the, early 1900s or even 1800s. And because of that, since it's so difficult, I was very impressed that I was able to describe to a chatbot what I was looking for. And the chatbot understood and was able to send me not one, but 3 recommendations. Now, 2 of them, I didn't tell them my price range. 2 of them were custom made and way out of our price range. But what I would like is the ability to do that on a vendor of my choice, not on, ChatGPT, frankly.
So we're still talking about discovery. We're not talking about the actual purchase. What they announced was the ability to do the purchase. You could find those products earlier. They just announced a protocol called ACP that allows you to buy something directly through chatgpt.com conversation. Those are two different things. I think
true.
agentic commerce is not discovering the product. It's kind of part
That's
of it, leading to the. We're talking about Sam Altman wants to control your purchases and see what you're buying.
And
That-
you're
that's-
describing a use case where you knew what you wanted, like at least to some extent. So it was like a kind of like a filter on steroid situation, but not like, to Sani's point, not discovery, I would say.
Yeah. Actually
And-
buying through, no.
Yeah, exactly. Discovery is fine. I mean, Google was fine for discovery. AI might be better. That's debatable, and we should not get into that debate. Is regular search or AI search better? Because we don't know. Nobody knows. But discovering a product and finding a product versus buying the product, those are completely different things. Also, what ChatGPT has in its favor for a few more weeks, I think, or months, there's no ads. That experience is
yet.
going to
For long, I
get
guess.
a lot shittier.
Yep.
But should we talk about the partners? Why did they choose the partners they chose? So the announcement talked about Etsy, which should have been enabled already now, and Shopify, which is not yet live. Why do you guys think that those were the partners that they chose? Because if you think about e-commerce, for me, naturally, the very first company we'd look into would be Amazon. And obviously, all these three players, Amazon, Etsy, and Shopify, they were fueled by Stripe, which we know there's a connection between OpenAI and Stripe. So, I just, I would love to know whether that conversation ever happened. Was it even on the table? What do you guys think? Why these companies?
I think there's a lot of hype on this whole thing, a lot of buzz and like kind of free press, if you will. So I think it was just interested for both parties, or well, the three parties here. Like, Shopify powers like most of the D2C e-com, not only in the US but around the world. So it's just kind of like, in my perspective, a nice thing to brag about. Like it's in my opinion, it's clear or common or expected that if they initially partner with Shopify for this, they will not with Amazon, because that's like the kind of like the nemesis of that situation, because like Amazon already offers kind of some version of agentic commerce, like shopping through Alexa speakers and that kind of stuff. And Shopify's slogan is like they are arming the rebels. So I think they just benefit each other. I don't know how much it really benefits the actual merchants, but to me it wasn't surprising to see them kind of like announcing this together, like very excitedly. It's just
So
a
you
lot of
don't
buzz
think
and hype.
you don't think it's as altruistic that supporting the small
No,
merchants that obviously both Etsy and Shopify stand for?
no, not
There are
all.
two reasons. One reason is that, like, if you want to make even more hype, what's the biggest platform anyone knows about? Two biggest platforms, it's Shopify and Etsy. Why not Amazon? Because Amazon is an AI player as well. Amazon is blocking ChatGPT completely, by the way. I think it's August this year. So they're more at war. There's no cooperation and partnerships there. They're both too big to partners. That's completely off the table from what I've seen. Shopify, every store has the same API. It's kind of easy to connect and pull product information. Like, it's that easy to do that. I think at Etsy probably is the same way. So it's easy. And they don't have their own AI products, Shopify and Etsy, at least not real AI products like
So they
Amazon and
need to
Meta.
partner if they want to use the.
I mean, it's useful for them so they can show we can push you into AI. It's the biggest splash possible they could make with this announcement, and I think that's why they chose to announce it with the president of Shopify recording a video for OpenAI.
What do y'all think about what Daniel said? Stock market games.
It's all stock market games. That's what I think.
I was like, oh, wow. Thanks, Daniel. Womp, womp, womp.
Totally.
That's the trick part of the tricks and treats. Yeah, exactly, David. They're going to IPO at $1 trillion. Yeah, that's the latest Sam tweet.
But what do we think about the geography topic? I mean, obviously, it's been announced that it's now open in the US. What do you guys think the next geographies would be? Are we thinking, Canada and South America, or are we thinking Europe? Do we even think it's possible in Europe? Would they allow it in Europe?
I was going to say, I don't think they'll allow it in Europe, the privacy.
Yeah, I think Canada might be it, but otherwise, like there's a big component of, I think we haven't talked about the Stripe as a player here, who's like kind of like supporting all of the technology behind the scenes. And there's a big component of like bank cards tokenization that you can probably scale in a place like the US, but maybe not that easy in some other places in the world where paying by a bank card is not necessarily the rule. So I think, I mean, if we take the example of South America or even some countries in Europe, a lot of people will still get like some kind of barcode and go pay at a convenience store or things like that. That will completely break the idealistic model that they are selling. So I think that's probably the main reason why. I mean, other than market cap, of course, why the US is the obvious choice, because I think it's pretty standard for most of the population. Kelly, feel free to contradict me here. Just to use a bank card, so it kind of makes sense from a technical standpoint.
But won't it work in Asia?
I mean, it might be, but I think none of these players are necessarily that powerful there as of now. So not sure
Fact, there's
what
a
the
lot of
implications
competition.
are. Totally.
Can we talk about the protocol they are using for this, the ACP, Agentic Commerce Protocol, which is developed by OpenAI and, I don't know, Stripe, I think, together, OpenAI and Stripe together. So what that protocol allows you to do is, while you're in the agent, while you're at chatgpt.com or wherever you're talking to ChatGPT, you can say, go and buy this. You have to be present. Like, what's the point of an assistant if you have to be there and hold its hand all the time? This protocol, this entire protocol is designed in a way that you have to be there. Like, there's no delegating the tasks while you're sleeping. It's going to buy something expensive. That's what Google has. That's the trick, whatever part of it. Google protocol, the APP, Agentic Purchase Protocol, Payment Protocol, the names are so stupid. AP2, I think they call it, allows you to delegate these purchase decisions. So you have your agent that is authenticated, that has access to your money, and it can buy something while you sleep. Scary, I know, but it's Halloween. This is the useful implementation. This is how agentic commerce should be. I don't want to look at my agent buy stuff for me. That is the dumbest possible way to implement agentic commerce, in my humble opinion. I wanted to buy, David mentioned, buy me toothpaste and toilet paper while I'm not even looking at it. Like, let's start with that. Let's start with toilet paper.
I don't know. I'm very picky about my toilet paper.
But you can pick the one you like.
The levels of ply,
Four ply. I know. Yeah. But isn't that how agentic commerce should work? Not you looking at it by, like, if you hire an assistant, do you want to like micro manage everything they do and look at them? Like, do you want to be Meryl Streep? What's her name in the movie, Kelly? You know this. I don't. In Devil Wears Prada. Do you want to be yelling at the assistant all the time? I don't. I wanted to do stuff while I do something else. Like that. That's, to me, that's the point of AI. Which is why I think what OpenAI has and has announced with this protocol, I don't see how it has a future. While this other protocol does have a future, where you can just give agent access to your money and let it do whatever it wants with your money.
Yeah. Like Mel just pointed out, having nightmares of my 5-year-old niece setting up purchases.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did y'all see what Namrata just pointed out? OpenAI partnered with the biggest telco in India to get the reach. Perplexity with another telco.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
Very.
Yeah, but
They'll
also
do anything but be profitable, these companies, right?
or pretend to.
And
But I think the
I'm-
whole like toilet paper reference, we're still not talking about making shopping decisions. Like those are scenarios
Correct.
where you would have already figured out what your favorite
It's re-
product is, which is normally not what we do when we do CRO and experimentation. So I think those far in this conversation, we haven't killed CRO yet.
But it's more about branding, it's more about awareness, it's more about knowing that your brand exists. So both AI that's making the decision inside that agent and the human influencing that AI and setting up the agent will want your product. Like if my foot is wide, I need New Balance to be able to run. I can feel good in New Balance running shoes because the front of my foot is wide. I don't need to worry about it being too tight. I cannot run in Nike. My agent will know that and will never buy me stupid Nike Pegasus so my
We
toes
love
bleed
you,
again.
Nike.
Just not for me. They're fine, but not for me. As
Yeah,
a running
no,
shoe, everything else is great. I'm not,
I fully agree. I'm fully aligned.
that's how I think that's how it should work. You should be able to tell your agent what you want, what your first, second, third, fourth option is, and then he can figure out the fifth option.
Sean asks a really good question. He said, can you double click on that? What do stores need to be optimized for, to be doing to be optimized for an agentic shopper? And this is like the whole purpose. This is why we're here. Go, Carlos.
Yeah.
I have a hot take on that.
Hot
I
take.
think nothing differently that
Yes.
what they should be doing today.
Yes.
Like everything that we're supposed to do to be kind of like noticed by these agents. If you think about it, it's like you should be doing that regardless.
Yes.
Like you should be providing with the structured data that's kind of like not sure if it's the right word, but consumable for bots and humans at the same time. So that's kind of related to my point before. Like if you want to be discovered and you want to be kind of like featured by these LLMs, everything you need to do for that to happen is something that you should be doing already.
For SEO and for accessibility and for
accessibility, exactly.
Yes.
For both people, and that will help as well for the agentic commerce. Yeah.
Yeah. Luiza, can you talk a little bit about the accessibility side and how that helps with AI?
I think we spoke with Sani about that. Do you want to take that?
No, that I'll jump in if I need to. It's yours.
I mean, so there are a lot of, in WCAG guidelines, there's a lot of things that are technically described of how your website should be set up. And I think if you kind of comply with all these standards and new accessibility law that just came into force, what is it now? 4 months ago, right? And in Europe, that should already help you because it secures the structure of your navigation, the naming of all your components, the alt text of all your imagery on the website, and just making sure that your website is understandable to everyone out there with also with disability or even temporary disability. So yeah, I think as Carlos said, it's nothing that we haven't done yet, and especially now we're even kind of we need to obey the law and make sure that we comply with all the requirements. Which, by the way, at least in Sweden, there are organizations that started auditing, which is great news. So yeah, we're on that wagon, and these things need to be done anyway for a good website experience.
Yeah. And it's sad that we had to make laws to do it in the first place, like common decency, like I was saying, Sani, make things better for humans, and guess what? AIs prefer it. Like
It's even more sad that it's going to happen now that AI is in play and not when the humans needed it, not when the laws required it or anything like. But now We have OpenAI and ChatGPT, and we'll dance. We'll jump to the hoop. There two. We need to talk about how agents can complete a purchase. So there's the protocols, there's the ChatGPT and the API for agents, basically. But there's also the why accessibility matters. There's an agent running on a virtual machine, controlling a browser and pretending to be human, scrolling, clicking. So if you look at ChatGPT agent, sometimes it goes into this computer usage mode agent, like CUA is what they call it, and it will literally try to interpret the page, look at the code, look at the screenshots and snapshots of the page. Now, visual, sure, it can understand, but that is the far more expensive option for an agent. Sending a screenshot, analyzing the screenshot, getting the results back, it's slow, it's going to cost a lot more tokens, and someone has to pay for those. If the front-end code of your website is not up to all possible standards, because these models are trained on code that's hopefully good, at least the first versions, it will have trouble understanding what your button that's actually a span that you gave some classes from Tailwind to look like a button. It will not know that's a button. Like it's as simple as that. If the page is not, if the elements are not accessible, don't have the labels, if the elements keep reloading and refreshing and being added to the page, so high front end rendering and React, goodbye, we don't need you anymore, basically. If that is not all optimized and implemented properly, the agent will not be able to understand what the page is about. And I had an experience when I tried to book a flight from Porto to New York earlier this month. It kept trying for 32 minutes, and then it gave up.
Wow.
Perplexity Comet is the AI agent browser that I use.
Maybe they just didn't want you in New York, Sani.
Maybe. But this doesn't work because the internet it's supposed to work on doesn't work.
Yeah.
Humans have learned how to use the broken internet because we adapt. These dead creatures will not adapt because they don't need to. They'll find a website that works and they'll just go there. And then maybe the next iteration of the model will know that's the shitty website, that's the good website. And maybe that's going to be not a ranking signal, but a disqualification signal. So not the same as Google, where you're just ranked 2 places lower. No, you don't exist. So what Carlos said, just do the right things.
Do the right things. That you sound like Jono when I interviewed him. I was like, so what are people supposed to do? And his answer?
Yeah.
Be better. That was his answer. I love this answer. How do you rank for AI commerce? Be better. That's your answer.
But it's simple. How do you?
It's so simple.
Let's talk about ranking for AI. How do you influence AI rankings? AI is trained on the non-AI world. Like the information it gets comes from non-AI portion of the world. And how does it learn which brand is good and which brand it should be recommending? People talk about that brand and say it's good, and it has a lot of mentions and a lot of links leading to it. The only way to influence AI is to step outside of the AI world and just influence what people think of your brand there. There's no other way. You can't hack an LLM. It doesn't work like that.
No, and by the way, that was another thing we talked about is that and this is true with AI commerce as well. When people are starting to use ChatGPT and Perplexity and whatnot to start like shopping, they're one of the things that is going to lead to your brand mentions is your brand reputation. And that doesn't come just from SEO, that comes from people talking about you on Reddit, on TikTok, on whatever. So, and that's not just your customers talking about you, that's teenagers talking about you, that's your CEO and who they donated to in the last election. All of that impacts the decision that consumers are going to make with their dollar vote. So,
and I think it's,
yeah, go ahead.
I think it's what we talked about, right? About this repeat purchase. How can you position your brand to enable that repeat purchase? Like Sani was talking about, what was it? Oasis sneakers. Was that the brand?
New Balance.
Sorry, New Balance. So New Balance, what's that toothbrush brand or what's that toilet paper brand that you will come back to, that you have that loyalty towards? I think that's what a lot of effort should be run to create a brand perception, brand loyalty that you would want to come and buy again and again from. But should we also talk a little bit about the money? We haven't spoken about the tiny little detail that OpenAI also released, which was the fee. There was supposed to be a small fee added on the side of the merchant on every completed purchase. Is that just the first attempt of OpenAI to start monetizing their product? Do they perhaps are drawn in debt, or what do you guys think? Would there be more things? We mentioned ads potentially coming already. What do we think about the small fee? How small is it even?
It's vague, like
Or says small fee
anything.
millions of times is a large fee.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's like anything that else OpenAI announces, it's vague by design because no, it's a fact. Either they don't want us to know or they don't know yet. And both options are fine, but we have to acknowledge that when you go to your boss and say, I need a small amount to pay for some expense, do you look like an idiot when you do that?
Mm.
Yeah, it's kind of not a great way to communicate. So this small fee means nothing. It just, like David said, they're testing how the public will react and respond to what they said. And it works for politicians. Why wouldn't it work for them? So I don't think we can talk about the money while it's broken and while we don't know how much money it is. But it's a great thing to mention because someone will pay for this in the end. Someone has to pay. Is it like China will pay for the tariffs and then we is it that? Like I don't know. But OpenAI is not going to pay for the tokens for their virtual machines being used for ChatGPT agent to buy something for you. Someone else will pay for that. Either the brand you're buying from or you, but there's going to be a tax added, and there's no way a company that's already losing money is going to give you more money. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, we need to talk about the money, but they need to talk about the money as well.
Yeah, I think there are some whispers where it's supposed to be single low digit number, whatever that might mean. Is it 1 to 5%? But I think as many people said in the chat, if you apply that 1 to 5% on many purchases, then it starts becoming a big cost potentially to a small merchant that was chosen as an option to be recommended in the chat. So yeah, I think it's an interesting aspect. And I think also another part of this whole generative AI industry, if you would want, our sector, is that a lot of them are burning a lot of money right now, and I think it will be interesting to talk about that monetization part.
No, Luiza, they're making a lot of money. Have you seen the stock market? It's not a bubble.
Yeah, I think so.
Just a quick note on the fee thing. I think we previously discussed why Shopify and Etsy, well, both of them already charge a small fee to their merchants, so it's kind of natural to make that connection, either to eat that cost, which obviously I doubt will be the case, but it's like the system is in place, so I would say people won't really notice if the fee changes by, I don't know, 10 cents per transaction, but of course, when there are billions of them, it makes a difference. So like the setup is already in place with them. So if I were to guess, I think that cost will be kind of like added to that fee that they already charge to their merchants per every sale.
This is all hypothetical. Let's be clear about it. This is all still extremely hypothetical. Also, it's a business model that's like from the movie The Office Space, where if we take 1 cent on every transaction and steal it for us, we'll be billionaires. Like these are the geniuses implementing this. This is their plan. Who was it? Corey said OpenAI is not profitable. Exactly. They lose money on paid users. On pro users, they lose money. Or plus whatever.
What's the number that was quoted that they would need, pro users would need to pay, like, was it 10,000?
Something insane.
It's
yeah, whatever.
crazy.
Yeah. Which is why I think we talked about this preparing for this call, which is why I think this is not the future of agentic commerce. This makes no sense. But having something like an email, you can send an email to and say, hey, I want you to buy my grocery. Let me know what's available before you do for next week, and toilet paper and toothpaste and whatever else. And that's an agent that some company is hosting, building it using an LLM either of their own and some tools and whatever else. I think that's what the future of agentic commerce is. An LLM is not an agent, and a company that announced an AI browser, agentic implementation with Shopify and sex chat in the same week is not the company that's going to take us to the greener pastures, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But this is possible. Having an agent shop for you is possible today. We just need to avoid the hype and not really give them that much attention.
Yeah, there's a 97 reply thread in the Great Content channel about OpenAI's restructuring for the for-profit that you all should take time to read after this. It's very entertaining. Yes, Carlos.
I don't know how timely this is for the conversation, because I mean, we clearly have been jumping from one topic to the other, but I think one of the most
Carlos.
exciting ideas about agentic commerce to me is having your own agent working on your site for your customers. So you already brought the traffic, let them figure things out and explore your catalog with an AI agent that by definition doesn't have to be that crazy expensive to use in terms of like tokens and API calls, because like the data will be limited to that spectrum. So that's one thing that I'm kind of excited about, because I think that, I mean, speaking for me, I think that that's something I would be more likely to use. I know a brand, I already like them, referencing not jacket. You mentioned something else for your husband before, but reference any kind of product that you would like. I think it would be a nicer shopping experience to maybe talk through an agent and figure what you would like from that specific brand. And in my opinion, that could even have more traction in the future compared to just chatting with ChatGPT to figure out what you need to buy, because in most cases you don't even know what that you want a product. That's the whole point of obviously paid traffic and or paid media and everything. So yeah, that kind of like in-house like private agent for a given brand or vendor, it's something that I think would be more sustainable and kind of more realistic down the road. And it already exists. Some brands already have that to some extent. So yeah, I'm kind of like curious about seeing the developments on that front.
I think brands and marketplaces, right? So we know that Zalando is going that direction. I think Amazon, same thing. So yeah.
We didn't talk about what an AI agent is. Like, do we need to talk about the definitions? What exactly, how it works, which components it has? Is that 100% clear to everyone in the conversation?
Let's just cover it. Sani, go ahead.
No, but I'm serious. Like, understanding what an agent is, not shopping agent, just an agent, and how it works.
Go
Should
for
we
it.
talk about that?
Yeah, go for it.
So an agent is literally a piece of software or whatever that has a brain, usually an LLM, that has access to some tools, that has memory, and it has a goal. That's how simple it is. Anyone can build an agent in 15 minutes and tell it what to do. And then what makes it an agent is that it uses the LLM to complete a goal and come up with the way to complete a goal based on the tools it has available. There's no magic. This is like saying WordPress is magic because you can publish your post. No. Corey, yeah, exactly. That's it. It's insecure. Yes, that's a good point. The LLM part is what makes it probabilistic, and it will always be probabilistic as long as LLM is what's powering the agent. But once you know what it is and how it works, ChatGPT agent is basically ChatGPT, the LLM using a browser. Like that's it. And anyone can set that up with any of the free tools available today, including LLMs you can run on your computer. And it's not going to be any worse. So once we understand that there's a lot of hype and we can do this without them, I think the world becomes a better place.
Good basics, Sani. Did you, just out of curiosity, did it come, Kelly? Did the delivery come?
I know, I was so excited, but no.
Okay. All right. I thought that we would have a full circle with the order through
I know,
ChatGPT.
I was so excited, but no, those are my
It's
Only
funny. I thought we
disappointments
were
then.
going to disagree more, but it's not the case. Like everyone's so on the same page, despite the bold claims, right?
You said Zero was
Are you
dead.
I didn't say
disappointed,
that.
Carlos? Would you like more disagreements?
Yeah, no,
No,
I don't quote me on that, but I think at the end of the day, and I think if this brings any kind of peace of mind to the attendance today, like it's all about keeping the fundamentals in place. Like there's no hacks, like you should just continue doing what you've been doing, and like I think in this case, the AI agents, which are the main topic, will still recognize you and feature you, which is what a lot of people are trying to figure out, just by doing the right things.
That's how simple it is. That's really how simple it is.
But I think there was also this view that, this is an opportunity for smaller merchants because so far there's no paid placement yet. But is it though? Because when we're talking about making sure that your foundations are in place, usually it would be larger companies that cover all of those basics. So I think that's also an interesting, perhaps, question to answer. Is it an actual opportunity for small merchants or not?
I think it is because they can do things faster than before. If you get into it, if an LLM starts recommending your brand, there's a lot of good things happening for you. And you can do that simply, let's say you focus on Reddit for 6 months and you build a community on Reddit, and then those people start talking about you everywhere.
Yep.
Maybe that's all you need to do. Not just for ChatGPT to pick up Reddit threads, but people start talking about you on social media or wherever else. So I think it's the same. I don't think the small brands are eliminated. The brands that are not liked are probably going to lose more. So that can be big brands or small brands. So maybe some big brands that people don't like will fail. Is that a bad thing?
I don't think it's necessarily bad. Like we ended the last interview that I did by saying that, maybe it kills capitalism, and is that a bad thing?
Oh no.
Hey, we have 2 minutes remaining in this hour, and I would like to close it out by saying, number one, Sani, holy crap, you're really good at this. There's a reason No Hacks is so popular and people love being interviewed by you. So thank you, Sani.
Thank you.
I'm definitely going to do another one of these and have you back because, like, holy crap, not just like on AI, although, like, I don't know, it's kind of the future. So probably more of those. But the next time I have a panel, will you come back?
Gladly. Yeah.
Yes. This was fun. This was really fun. I
This was
really
fun.
enjoyed
This was
doing it
fun.
with you. Last time I had you come, it was because I was losing my voice and I was like, hey, come help me, please. And you saved the day then, but this was really fun. You do a great job and I really, really enjoyed
Thank you.
you. So thank you. Secondly, Carlos, Luiza, thank you. Really, really loved having you all. This topic was timely and fun for Halloween, and I hope everybody else got something out of it like I did. Thank you all. For those of you who didn't, I'm going to leave this up for a few minutes. I think everybody can actually download the chat. If you can't, if you try and can't, I will download it because normally I tell everybody and I forgot to put your comments and everything over in the TLC Slack, and I just forgot because I was having fun. But I will try to download it and then I will post it somewhere that everybody can read because there were so many good comments and questions and commentary over there. So I'll leave it up for a second for everybody. But I hope everybody has for those who celebrate, a lovely Halloween, and happy shopping.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy
Thank you
Halloween.
all.
Bye.
Bye all.